Okay, so let's talk about Jamb. Jamb is what is happening right now because Jamb eventually has been jumped. Because, well, there's a lot of things that have been going on. Well, because Jamb actually promised to review the 2025 UTME results, and even despite that, updates came where students are not actually convinced that that mark is actually their marks, because some persons, according to them, had a bigger score in the previous Jamb, and they are like best students, top students. We're not talking about people of the private schools, and people who their parents, the school is even certain that they are smart and have good scores. But eventually, found out that rising Jamb this year, they had very low scores. So they're asking for a review, like we check the you know, their papers. And of course, Jamb actually made not a promise, some sort of promise though, that they are going to review again some of these results, and for those who did not write Jamb, you know, based on maybe location on anything or whatever, a lot of things happened during CS Jamb, so they'll review everything and get back. But on the sad note, we had a recent update just yesterday night where a young lady, you know, took her life, committed suicide because of a low Jamb score, and because, of course, frustration from her parent. Because a lot of parents will tell you, if you do not make that Jamb score, don't come back home, or you're not going to eat, or one thing or the other, and she took her life. But before that, there's a video of where we had teacher students going to Jamb office to actually, you know, question them. So let's watch that video and we'll be right back to the studio. But anyways, I want to start with you, Nuruddin, because you are a lecturer, and of course you definitely will understand how all of this should maybe work or should have, you know, been sorted. What would you say about everything from the massive failure to Jamb now stating that they review results, review people that write the Jambs? I don't even know how they are going about it, and the fact that they are stating that don't move their location, all of those things, plus the students and the teachers that had to march to Jamb office requesting that that result is not theirs. What would you have to say about that?
Well, it has been with us. I don't know why people are the way people are shouting this time around. Last year, over 74% of those applicants did not score up to 200. The last 2 years, about 72 or thereabouts.
Same thing.
Last 3 years. So why is they should not use Jamb as a scapegoat. It has been with us. It is the reality of our educational sector currently now. We should not even lie to ourselves. Jamb as a body may have its own problem, but the other problems, we should not use those children that sat for the exam as a scapegoat. Likewise, like Jamb. Let me break it down. With the number of percentage of our budget going to education in the first instance, is it enough? Apart from the one that and still take away, is it enough? That one is one. Two, public school. I know a public school in this state that late last year, early this year, I still fought with the management of that particular school, which is the government, that a secondary school owned by government did not have physics, chemistry, biology, further math, government, and it's a secondary school.
Like they don't have the teachers?
They don't have the teacher.
Oh wow.
For 1 term, 2 term.
Wow.
And one thing about education is this: if you don't have a teacher for a particular subject, you have deprived the kid. As moving on like that is going to be affecting those topics that was allotted for that term. It's going to be affecting those kids till it's going to write down. That kind of student will not be well equipped to go and write UTMA. When they now write UTMA, those questions are there, then what did you expect? Private school. There are some people that are paying higher. In fact, we believe that private schools that are expensive, that the one that is the most well taught, is a lie. You will see a secondary school that is collecting 30,000 per term, and they will be dutiful, even more than one paying millions.
True.
Have you ever seen somebody that is the best student, best applicant in ICANN that is from private school? So, one thing that you need to know is this: that one, then, government has its own faults. Some parents, not all parents, I shouldn't generalize that.
All right.
There are some parents, instead of you to pay for tutorials that will lead to that exam for the kids, you are looking for special centers and those people are going to assist the kids one way or the other.
The other.
Now technology is really exposing them. Then another one again is the kids themselves. There are some kids that their parents make everything available, good school, good tutorial, good books and everything, that the students are not even ready to learn. All they know is about social media, going to clubs, be on WhatsApp till night, no researching about those. One is another part. Then our society itself. Student that wants to read, no light. He has gone to this that even the eyes is not even seeing very well. So that is the kind of environment. You will see that it is multifaceted. Then another one with the Jamb. I knew that technology has made some things easy, because I could recall when we had our own Jamb. During our own time, there is a only Jamb, there is uni Jamb. For you to know your center, you have to go to Ikoyo if you are in Lagos, and you have to sleep
Jamb office.
They will just want to write your where you are going to write your 24 hours on the
Wow.
When you want to now check your results, if you are lucky, they post your center to you. You are lucky through 9 posts. To now know what you score, because there is no text there, there is no phone. You have to go there. They will check it on the system. They will check it on the system. I have been offered admission in the first list. I didn't know. Because what they wrote at the Jamb is different from at that time. They normally write it down, they will circle it.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've been given admission. So what I now did was that to go to that registrar of that school, that I know I scored more than. He said, I'm not the Jamb now. They now checked the first batch. That's why they saw my name and my real marks. You understand now? It has been, but technology has made it easier now. I have a son, the foster son, that did the same Jamb that scored 305.
Oh wow!
Oh, brilliant!
And before the exam, he told me, "Sir, I won't take less than 300."
Because he was sure he was really prepared for
it. I know there are some, there could be some certain in between. And the review they are talking about, don't expect that Jamb will now give you the marks you don't deserve, or they are going to give you another mark. No. What they want to do, the review, people don't understand. This review, they do it immediately every exam. They want to show, look, is there any discrepancy in some certain area? There are some results they withheld. Is there any reason for it to be withheld? They chose some certain videos of each centers. In fact, there are some centers now that are terrible centers that are encouraging students to cheat, and you want the result to come out. Although Jamb as a body needs to work on timing. They need to work on and create more room for more centers, so that students is not going to be moving from one place far away
to another.
And that's the thing. And the schedule of 6 o'clock, 6:30 is wrong. I know they don't start any exam 6:30, but one thing there is that they should make sure more centers available to students, especially those people in the rural area. If we are in Lagos here, you could see a lot of centers, but in the rural area, I'm telling you, people can travel. Somebody in Okeo, for instance, now have to travel all the way to Oyo to go and have a center. And you know, Okeo to Oyo, it's like when you are going here to Ibadan. So automatically they need to make sure this more decentralize it and see, even if government needs to spend money on infrastructure, so that they can bring this center closer to the people, especially those people, the students in the rural area. But one thing there is that this problem is not the problem of Jamb alone. It's not the problem of the kids alone. It's the problem of everybody, and that's we need to work as a whole so that we can move forward. But I can tell you, those students in tertiary institution, we lecture them. If you lecture a kid for a term, a semester, at the end of the day, this kid stores 7 over 70.
Let me come in here. There's also this story that says that there were some centers, I think the afternoon centers, had in their questions, they had questions, they didn't have objectives to the answers to the questions. Some of them had answers without questions. So
these are the kind of the area that if this review have to do, what they just have to do, those students that are affected because their rights have been violated, they are to have questions, they are to have options. So a situation in which there are options and there are no questions, or questions without options, automatically through this review they'll be able to aspire to those students. Surely it's not all, so they can pick all those centers, pick all those kids. If they want to have a remedial for them, they can do it because they paid for it. 1, 2, it's their fundamental human right.
So you think they could allow them to rewrite it?
Yes, they did. In fact, this is part of the things that Jamb does too. Because there are some certain people. I know a kid last 2 years that scored a lot of marks that they were just, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And they have to invite the guy. They invite the guy. If you give you another question, can you do? Because we are doubting what you score. And they gave the guy another. I said he's ready. No, they now say no. You should pick a day, maybe next week, maybe upper week. And they set a day. They pay for the transport of this kid through and fro, pay for the feeding. And the guy came and see the smart tool, everything. Wow.
But we also had the story of the girl.
I'm coming. Apologies to actually cut you. I want to actually talk to Femi Chacha. You own a school. Now, I'm coming from the angle of the lady, the young girl that took her life because of the frustration of not, passing her Jamb, and of course from the parents, because we know how parents can be when you write Jamb and you fail. I'm not talking about your school Jamb, like you need to go into university. We know how parents, because I can tell you for a fact that, well, my parents might not say it that way, but kind of insinuated it that, see, this Jamb, if you don't pass it, I know about that kind of thing. So what would you say, as someone who has have a direct contact with parents at that young age, is there a way we can actually talk to our parents, or is there something that needs to be done? Because my fear is not that, yes, we lost a life, may the soul of the departed rest in peace, but my fear is that we know how the young minds think. They can turn into a trend. That next somebody fails and your parents, you disturb me, you stress me, I just go. So it's something that we need to talk to them and also the parents. What would you say about that?
I think our parents need to realize that the pain threshold for this generation is really low. There are so many things when we were growing up that when our parents shout at us,
we could hold on.
We could really hold on and feel strong. But you see, these ones will go into depression. I lecture somewhere that is private, and I've seen children slid into depression for the minor things that some of us will really feel that.
Like, are you serious? Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's the only reason? You really have to keep asking.
Yeah.
And you see the way the child is crying, and you feel like, oh, I don't know what's happening to this generation. So they don't have that pain threshold. And why? Because parents, things we didn't get when we were children, we now want to force it on our children so that they can have an easy life. But you see, giving them an easy life now makes them lower their threshold, and they don't have the ability to withstand challenges. So that's why they say in marriage seminars that weak parents give birth to strong children. Strong children now give birth to weak children, and then it keeps growing until that threshold keep dropping. We were lucky that we could understand gestures. Our parents don't even have to use their entire
they don't. You dare not.
With their eyes.
You get to this generation, you keep blinking and they don't know.
They could even ask you, Daddy, why are you blinking?
What's your back then growing up, you ask your mom, please, where should I drop it? She said, drop it on my head. You tell a child in this generation, they will
literally drop it there.
You tell a child in this generation, if you get to that house, don't eat. They get there and say, my mommy said that.
My mommy said going to your house. So, aside that, I also feel like the level of children or students going into education to study education, the percentage of the best is dropping, and it's affecting some of us. The best of the best, the cream de la cream, wants to do certain courses. I don't want to give adverts for those courses. Then when they don't get such courses, some of them are now forced
to another course
that they don't like against their own condition. If they graduate, it affects how they treat the job. It affects their performance on the job. I'm speaking as a stakeholder. So you now have to, irrespective of what you do, they don't have that motivation.
The passion is not there.
It affects the children. And then, we used to grow up to learn that the rewards of teachers are in heaven. But you see, in this generation, if you do your work well,
you get your reward now.
You see parents
Yeah.
that value,
Of course.
what you are
True.
doing, and they will reward you.
True.
So, but I don't know why, you know, the truth is the best of the best are not channeling efforts into the education sector, and that's because they are not making it attractive. I like what Dr. Alausa is trying to do to make sure that NC awarding institutions can also award. I'm talking about college of education.
College of education.
That they can also award degrees right now, but that's not enough. That's actually not enough. I'm expecting that. See, if we just like Mr. Agbero said, the percentage we are putting to education in the budget is a reflection of what is happening everywhere. So going forward, I'm of the opinion that we should have a way. Universities used to have a way to make those that top the list of the generation come back to do their doctorate, PhD, and then
employ them. Yes, true.
So if universities do that,
True.
why can't some people give? There's something Obasanjo is doing in his university. If you come to study agriculture related courses, they make the fees as well. Why are we not doing that in education? So that the best of the best. Oh, you score so if you score 300 and above and you choose education, your fees will be so.
Yeah.
You will not find out the best of the best will come into education, and it will indirectly affect
the children.
The children.
It will affect their scores. It will make education even more
Attractive and interesting.
And interesting. That's not even enough. You now still graduate as the best of the best. You should be given not 10,000 naira. They will use, you know that they used to do
very big.
The amount that is,
Some of these things will affect the morale. It does affect. Then school owners too. I didn't need to shout about this. Your business is moving from rented apartments to your own site, but the lives of people working under you all
it's not improving.
I totally agree.
It's not improving.
It's not moving. Then how do you expect them to be dedicated?
Yeah.
How do you expect them to put in their best? You buy property worth millions, but you're still paying them peanuts. How? They watch that growth. They saw when you were in a rented apartment. They saw when
from one step to another.
They're moving to
and the teachers are just stagnant.
Yeah. Some of their students will graduate, still see them at that same level, and you expect them to respect them. They can't respect. They can't even be willing to go into education line.
True.
So school owners and stakeholders to have larger percentage of the blame. That's why most of them, when they go to the world beyond, their children cannot manage the investment because the sweat of those people that contributed to that success will not make it success.
Oh my God.
Oh wow.
That's taking it really
very deep.
It's a fact. And another thing again is that what makes us who we are is because we were trained by the best. True. So it's a situation in which I know one polytechnic that is the first polytechnic to be awarded ND and HND in mass communication. If you have the best of your sets, after your service, you'll come back. You'll be employed. At that particular time, they now have the best as lecturers. So when they now have the best as lecturer, you know that any student that go through them, both practical and theory, they have to be groomed them very well. So when they go out, they succeed. That is why I stand to be corrected. There is no television, radio station in Nigeria today that when you want to pick the best there, you are not going to pick the product from this polytechnic, Ogun State Polytechnic, now Moshood Abiola in Mascom. I don't know about any other, but in Mascom, because that's what, and that is what I was also doing at one time. You have finished with distinction, you are going nowhere. In fact, they will say they will pay for your masters. When they pay for your masters, you have an accord, you lecture for a period of time, even for 10 years. Just imagine if somebody is the best taking you, it's going to be different. True. Majority of the teachers, they are not teaching it because it's a passion. They are teaching it because they want to fend for their own. So you are going to be having average students being teachers. You understand now? Then another one again is that one thing is to be brilliant, another one to have ability to teach. Because some people could be brilliant and they don't know how
to pass it. Yes.
So those are the aspects of those things that really reflect on those skills. Another thing again is this. Government needs to do more. All this shouting, and parents that did not even know the subject that their words even did the UTMA, they are the one shouting. Some parents did not even know. They don't even know anything about their. They just know that my child scored 170, 1 whatever. Did you think your child can even? Did it
Score
prepare
beyond that?
The boy that was talking about, he finished his SSC and he said he's not going to get any job. He's going to be teaching. Do you know what he's teaching? He's teaching literature in English and government as an assistant teacher. In the Jamb, sat for English literature, government. In his literature, upon how literature is always been, it's called 85.
Wow.
Because
we have to bring him here.
So you should be able to know that. You should be able to know that. That's one of the things. During our own time, you finish like this, you want to go into teaching. You know that you are going to be refreshing every day.
Yes.
By the time you want to get to school, you are already full loaded. And now, what is happening? Then another thing again is that our children now, there's nothing wrong with social media. I do tell people, there is nothing wrong with it.
Right.
How you plan yourself along with it will determine. They need to focus majorly on their life. They can still use social media in the other country. They use social media now. They sort the net, but you need to plan yourself along with it, and you should be able to gain something. Anything that cannot educate you, that cannot add to your knowledge, don't do it. Another thing again is that look at our environment. How many kids even wants to go to school? When you know at 18 you saw some yahoo boys driving
money,
cars, and you think they are going to go to school, and they see the way you treat civil servants, they treat their mothers that have served for 35 years and you did not pay their gratuity. Is that what you want them to
believe in?
Our own time, we always want to be a teacher. And I'm telling you, I told some certain people, the courses that I choose, it's not that they beg me or somebody, I want to do it, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm happy with it. But the problem there is that now look at our own environment. We see teachers as mini gods. We saw them, we saw their life, we saw them with the car. I could recall when I was secondary school, really I will see my teacher that will not have a car. How many teachers can boast of a car and even good livelihood?
Yeah.
And that is the problem. If you cannot take care of that, we are joking. All this Zula Belu that is going around, it's just for a period of time. Another UTMA will come.
And the same thing.
If we don't do anything, the same thing is going to happen, and we'll be calling the child. And please, don't kill your child because it's called 180. Don't kill your child. If you cannot go to university, there are some university that, and maybe the VCs now should do something. Maybe there is a way they can make sure, because of the poor performance, the cut-off marks
should be reduced.
I know that private university, they don't have any issue. All those ones that you are talking is for poor people. Private school, you get 150, you enter.
You want 20, man.
You enter. But one thing there is that they should reduce it a little bit, especially for some those general courses, so that we can have more that will help.
Okay, all right. I really love this. But we have a message from Ozzy Shuai. Please, I forgot, Shaya. Please always include the numbers so that we can have our viewers, call in and send text messages to us. Anyway, this one is Ozzy Shuaib from Dokwemu. Says, in addition to your guest submission, another reason for failure is because most of us have lost our reading culture. Okay, most of us have lost reading culture compared to our times. I think most of the people, the children now have lost that culture of reading compared to us.
I totally agree with him. You see a student of mass comm, you have to read a novel so that they can review it. A novel that is not even up to 250. Within 1 week, come to class, what have you read? You discover that 50% of them have not even read it. What is not up to 200 pages within a week? Something that you want to skip like this, you just divide it. You can read 20 pages within 3 days. You finish it, and that's such words want to read mass comm. So, and that is the problem. Now we don't read, and that's why having some WAEC, NECO to become objective, I totally against it.
Nah,
because the level you read for objective is different from theory.
Yeah.
Before we know it, it creates more danger for us. Many of these kids are not reading. The better way for them to read is to have theories, especially suppose. So it's not going to be objective. Having objective is not the best. I see that even in the tertiary institution, anytime I set questions, I put some objective. I discovered that majority of them perform very well in objective. When they now get to the theoretical part, then you see them fumbling, and that is the area that we need to even work on.
Okay, so let me ask a question. In those days, we used to have libraries, public libraries, private libraries, libraries in schools, but we don't see all that anymore. Because I remember I wanted to use a library some months ago, and I was looking for a library between Ogba and Ikeja, and I couldn't get one.
Let me say something. I think there's a problem with this. There are certain problems with this generation that we parents are not waking up to responsibility. One, there's information overload. My parents could afford textbooks while I was in secondary school. We were borrowing
from the library,
from friends,
and from the library, yes,
to be able to read ahead.
Yes.
But you see, this generation, there are virtual textbooks, there are textbooks, there are e-books. But you see, they can't
read them. No,
but we are talking about a kids that the parent can afford phone. And we are talking about the one that the parent can afford data. Because you have to put that one on.
There's a lot to it.
No, the point is, schools. Take for instance, in my own school, it is expensive to have library full of books.
Yes.
But with 2 or 3 laptops filled with e-books, it's easier to read. You don't have to keep buying.
Yeah.
You can buy once and you install.
In all of them.
My point is, schools are not getting creative. Parents are not getting creative. If my son, for instance, my first son in 300 level, I observed that he's more of a gadget person. So because he does not like physical books, I will force him, snap it. Okay, then change it to PDF and put it on your device.
Yeah.
So even though he likes to deceive me by, I like the fact that I will know. Probably because I love reading. So it's easier for me to find a way to benchmark. And it's because of how we grew up. My dad back then would buy newspapers. My dad got me, that's why the fact that I'm science inclined. He got me into writing and reading. He said, so article, you summarize to me when I come back from work today. So I know when he's coming back from work today, he buys today's paper. And when it comes tomorrow, I must summarize whatever today's paper is. So I had that urge to read. So if parents, some parents will just, with wishful thinking, expect that these children are lazy. We can't look away from that. We have to find a way to help them. Then when I give my children guidelines or things, landmarks I want them to overcome. My daughter is art inclined. My first one is science inclined. That's okay. When you finish this novel and you summarize to me, and you do your chores, I try to attach. Oh, this and this is what
you.
So you don't just come to me and say because I'm your father, you are entitled to certain things. Yes, you are entitled, but I also find a way to
infuse things.
Yes, so that I can, when they now grow. When she gains admission and she has volume of stuff to read, it's easier to say, oh, do this and this, don't worry, I will encourage you with this and that. Because there is no one, like Mr. Adeboro said, if you see the young lads that are spending money lavishly, and some of us that are hardworking can't spend like they do, then some of these children begin to question themselves if it is worth it to actually.
That's where you hear them say education is scam. I hear them say that a lot. Education is a scam.
Library. I'll start with the government. It's not that there is no library. The one that I've been, although they don't build me one, and if they don't build me one, nothing will happen. The problem there is this: majority of our public library is outdated. Even how many NGO, how many writers are even donating books? Because those people that are supposed to support them are not supporting them. And majority of our politicians are illiterate. They don't know the value of education. If they know the value of education, the better way to build minds is through library. They are not educated. They don't even care about education because they are not educated too. So, and that is one of the things. Another thing again is this. You see, e-library is good. Maybe I'm a kind of orthodox type. I enjoy reading book.
The physical copy.
Yes.
I love it so much.
Too.
That's why I told some certain people. The way some people take tab to church, take it to mosque, I don't understand though. Because my own Quran, I'll use biro
and design it.
Because one thing there is this: whatever I use my hand to write or tap,
you remember.
The situation there is this: that a parent that doesn't have public power supply, that doesn't have generator, his kid will not, the phone of his kids will not be available or cannot afford it. But the problem there is that we are the libraries. Our government needs to build libraries, especially the local government. They are supposed to have each they're supposed to have part of their budget. But the thing there is that a chairman that is a school start holder, F9 parent, that if you don't even know anything, how do you now want, you not that have not even done road, that have not even done empowerment, is the one that you say you will remember one library. And that is one of the things. We need to get educated people. Those people that love education, those people that love kids to be educated into power. If you don't do that with this kind of people, no library.
Okay, I need to just quickly get an opinion on something that we have to drop this topic. I need to get opinion on the Lagos government asking residents to report landlords who will be demanding for more than a year's rent. Like if you're asking for a 2 years rent, the Lagos government is asking that they report to the government. It has to be just a year rent. What's your take?
Blossom.
Very quickly, because that time.
Lagos state government is just joking, and they know within themselves they are joking.
So
they are just joking with the people.
They're just playing with the people.
Yoruba used to say, "Ẹni tó bá máa daṣọ fún ni tààrẹ la máa ń kọ́kọ́ wò." Somebody that promised you that is going to give you some set of clothing, you have to check that person up first.
Well, this person has.
How many affordable housing has the Lagos state government provided for the residents? You don't build house. So those babas that have invested in housing, you know, one thing there is that is in the law that you cannot take more than 1 year. It's in the law. But one thing there is this: you that want to stop that, you don't have, okay, if one landlord said they are not giving houses to anybody, will state government have the capacity and capability to do that?
What is accommodate people?
There are a lot of residents in Lagos.
Okay.
And when you have a lot of demand in that part, more than supply, the prices is going to go up. We all did economics now. So one thing there where government can do, they can do is this: create housing, affordable housing scheme. When you do that, if any landlord do yanga in your area, you switch to government housing. But you did not build. Those people that even build are maintaining the house. And another thing again is our landlord, please. We know you people have invested in your house. We know that you have tried much as possible to assist people in Lagos, especially those people that build face me and slap you houses. But one thing there is this: situation of the things now is very, very hard. Please be patient and also be accommodating in terms of price to the tenants, because a lot of people are suffering.
Thank you very, very much for that one. Femi Chacha, please, I don't know how quick you're going to, make an input.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Guerrero. I think it's really unwise to enforce what you don't have alternative. You have to first create alternative so that the alternative is attractive. Then people can say to hell with you when you are asking for 2 years. So when tenants begin to say to hell with you, when the demand is not as much as the supply, then they will align.
Yeah,
it's a
I
demand
totally
and supply
agree.
thing.
You know, in reaction to what you're saying, now a man actually made a video. We can't play that video, the time is up. A man actually made a video where they are more like an estate with about, if I'm maybe not exaggerating, maybe 7-story building. Abandoned. It was a full estate, abandoned because
by politician.
Yes, by
say
politician.
It well.
Okay, by a politician, was built by a politician, but the amount they are demanding, he said that house has been there for more than a year.
Even the money that he stole, he cannot even make it affordable to people. That is the kind of people we are.
Okay, all right.
The money that he stole
yes,
to build house, he cannot even make it affordable for people to be living.
Thank you very much for being on the show.